So you probably heard about the Peloton Bike, seen the advertisements, heard about the Peloton wife controversy, people in the office talking about it like it's some sort of crazy cult. But there's a reason for the hype, and that is because it works. It's a piece of equipment that sits in your house, but it actually gets used. Peloton claims a retention of 96% over 1 year, and for a piece of home exercise equipment, that is crazy. But it comes at a cost. In Canada, here where we live, it's about $3,000. I think it's $2,000 in the US, which is quite a bit of money. But there's an easy way of just building your own Peloton setup in your own home for a fraction of that. All you need is a spin bike, an app, which you can just get right off of the App Store from Apple or Android, and a few pieces of basic equipment, and then you got yourself a full Peloton system. In this video, we'll show you what the basic equipment you'll need to get started, including what kind of bike to get, either new or secondhand, what kind of equipment you'll need to run the app properly, and then go into some of the workouts that are on the app itself. Plus, we'll cover a few pointers on what kind of accessories you may want to add to make your workouts at home that much more enjoyable. For basic home Peloton setup, you'll need a stationary spin bike, a phone or tablet to run the app, a holder to attach the tablet or phone to the bike, and a cadence sensor to tell you how fast you're spinning, and finally a heart rate monitor. Step 1, you're going to need a stationary bike. The best type to get is a spin style. The spin style bikes have easy resistant changing, which is important because you're constantly changing that in a Peloton workout, and they adjust very easily for different body types. That's good if you're sharing it with somebody, but probably most important thing with a spin bike is it's much easier to ride out of the saddle than a regular stationary bike. And this is very important because this is what you're going to be doing a lot of on a Peloton workout. A good place to look for used bikes is on Craigslist, Kijiji, or Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes even you can find bikes that are being sold off by commercial gyms. So I've seen these things go as low as $100, but usually for around $350 or $300, you can get a really good used bike. You should look for a bike that uses a belt to drive the flywheel. This is the flywheel, and that's what provides the resistance. But in here there's a belt rather than a chain. The chain drive ones require more maintenance and they're a lot louder. The other thing you want to look for is, if you can afford it, get a magnetic resistance one. Typically the cheaper ones use like a pad that will press down on this flywheel based on how much resistance you have, and that's what creates the resistance. They're much louder. This one uses a magnetic way of resistance, so there's magnets built into here which actually provide the resistance for you. So when you're pedaling, it's virtually silent. Like you can see, I'm turning the cranks here and you can't even hear it. So highly recommended to get a magnetic one, but if you can't, just get the cheaper felt pad ones and they'll work just as fine. If you're looking to buy a brand new spin bike, one of the most popular and reasonably priced brands is Sunny Health. If you search on Amazon, you'll see that there are a whole bunch of bikes offered by this company. Ones that I recommend though are the belt drive ones with the heaviest flywheel you can afford. As you can see here, the belt drive version of this bike is just slightly more expensive than the chain drive, but as I mentioned before, it's well worth it for what you get. 40 pounds is the recommended flywheel weight for spinning, as it gives you the best stability when riding out of the saddle. Once you have a spin bike, you'll need a phone, tablet, or computer to watch the Peloton classes on. The Peloton digital app is available on Apple and the Google Play app stores. You can also log into the Peloton website and do the classes on a computer. The monthly cost is only $12.99 and the first month is free. Chances are you already have one or more of the devices that work with these apps, but the best experience is to use an Apple iPad. The Apple version of the app has more features than the Android version. Most importantly, only the Apple version will display your heart rate and cadence. This alone makes a huge difference in your cycling workouts, so if you can use an iPad or iPhone, do so. You can still do the workouts with the Android app, but you will get much more out of an Apple device. You're also going to need some sort of mount to mount your tablet or phone to your bike. This particular one here has one built in, but you can buy ones like this that just attach to the handlebar, and then you can just plop in your iPad or your phone or whatever and use it that way. These things you can get for like $15 off of Amazon or even the dollar store. The cadence sensor is actually a really important part of a DIY setup because it measures how fast you're pedaling. During the workouts, the instructors will always be calling out a speed that you should be going at. There's the speed right there, cadence. So you need that sensor to be able to tell how fast you're going. This is what a cadence sensor looks like. It's just a little black box that you zip tie to the crank arms on your pedals. And what this does is as you pedal, it goes round and round. This sensor sends the speed to your computer. It tells you how many revolutions per minute you're doing. Some people will just clip these things also onto the shoe somewhere, onto their shoelaces or wherever. And that lets you take the workout with you on the road if you want to go to the gym. You can use pretty much any Bluetooth heart rate monitor for Peloton. This one here is the kind that straps around your chest. Again, it connects with Bluetooth to your iPad or your phone or whatnot. Popular brands are made by companies like Scotch and Garmin. I have a couple links to them below on Amazon, and you can get them as cheap as 25 bucks. So these things are not expensive, but like we said before, they're a key part of the whole Peloton workout. And also, if you happen to have an Apple Watch, that can integrate with the Peloton app on your iPad. So if you're an Apple family, you're covered.
So now we're going to talk about the actual app itself. So over here, you can see there's more than one type of workout, not just cycling. But for now, let's go delve into cycling. So you could press this filter button because there's thousands of classes. So depending on length of time that you want, you could do 30 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever. And you could just go here, 1,800 classes. So you go like this, but then that's a little bit too much. So then now you're gonna add another filter and just say music genre. So they have country, alternative, hip hop, Latin. I'll press Latin. And there's 6 classes today. So, my favorite, Cody Rigsby. We're gonna do one of his Bud Bunny rides. And you press start, and there we go.
One of the nice things about using the Peloton app is you can project what's on the small screen, either your phone or on tablet. And here on the iPad, for instance, you click on that icon right there. It'll transmit the signal that you're watching onto a TV. So there's a TV right there that we have in our spare bedroom, and now the workout's being shown on there. But it's nice if you have a big giant TV in front of you rather than a little tiny thing, especially if you're only using a phone. You can also do this if you're using Android. You can use like a Chromecast. This is what a Chromecast looks like. It's just a little device that straps to the back of your TV. Same thing, same concept. It casts that. Or you can use a Fire Stick, an Amazon Fire Stick. If you have one of those, the Peloton app is actually available on that, and you can actually run the workouts right to your TV from there. Both those things, the Chromecast and the Amazon Fire Stick, you can get for a cheap $35. The Apple TV costs a little bit more, but if you have one already, it's a really good way of doing it. As good as the cycling workouts are, not a lot of people even know that Peloton offers all kinds of other workouts as part of the app. So you have anything from running, that's indoor on a treadmill, outdoor, that's where you run with audio on your iPhone or your phone, strength, most of that's body weight, but there's some weights. Of course, the cycling ones, yoga, there's meditation, boot camp, stretching, cardio, walking. So there's a whole variety of really good high quality classes other than cycling available on these. If you got some open space, you can lay out a yoga mat and do some yoga exercises using the Peloton Yoga exercises. No need to go to a yoga class anymore.
So one of the cool features of Peloton is that we have this thing called scenic rides. So I could pretend that I'm in Cinque riding through this narrow streets instead of my bare bedroom.
Once you have your bike set up, you're definitely going to want to add some accessories. Chances are you already have some of these things, like a fan. You'll want a fan blown on you because you sweat a lot in Peloton. As well, have a mat. A mat to catch the sweat, but also to absorb the vibrations. These things can be had cheap again off of Amazon for like 20-25 bucks, but they really come in handy. Some of the workouts with Peloton use weights. This bike has weight holders built in, but you can just pick up a couple of cheap 3 or 5 pound weights and have them ready to go as part of the workout. Another thing you might want to upgrade is your pedals and shoes. Typically you'll get this kind of pedal with your bike. It's just a cage where you stick your shoe in and that's what connects you to the bike as you pedal. It works, but it doesn't give you as good a connection as if you're using what they call clipless pedals. The clipless pedals uses a connection like this, kind of like a ski binding, where you have a cleat on the bottom of your shoe that attaches and clips you in. This is just a beat up old mountain bike shoe, but it gives you an idea. You would clip in and then it would attach like this, and you have a much firmer control of the bike. You would need special shoes and special pedals for this. This pedal has both styles built in, so it has the clipless on one side and the cage on the other. So there's all kinds of variations on this and budgets as well. But chances are you may already have that with a road bike or mountain bike, but it's a good addition to a spin bike as well. So that's pretty much all you need for a DIY Peloton setup. I'll make a quick mention of this particular bike right here, the Schwinn IC4, because it's a really good alternative to a Peloton. The Bowflex C6 is pretty much the same bike, just different branding, and they're both highly regarded as good Peloton bikes. One of the biggest features is this, the magnetic resistance, and it displays the power level right on the screen, just like a Peloton bike, which is something that most other bikes don't have. The other thing too is it comes with a heart rate monitor, Bluetooth one that'll connect to your iPad or to your phone or whatever, and also it has a cadence sensor built right in. Again, Bluetooth will connect to that, so you don't have to buy a single thing else. It has a built-in tablet holder with a charge port, so you can just be charging your tablet while you're riding. And it comes with a few other neat little things, like it comes with hand weights with little handles to store it, and also bottle holders. Fully adjustable. The pedals are the dual type with the clipless pedals, clips on one side, and the cages. So essentially there's nothing else you need. So I'll make a full review of this bike at a later date. So if you hit the subscribe button, you'll be sure when that comes up, I'm going to go way into more detail on this bike and show you why it's such a good value at only about $800. So that's all it takes to get into a DIY Peloton on the cheap. We really enjoy the classes. After a while, you figure out who your favorite instructors are, what music you like, what programs you're into, and you really just have no problem getting motivated because it's a piece of equipment that's in your home that's fun to use. And there's also a bit of a community, sort of a fun atmosphere, kind of like going to the gym, but with the convenience of not having to get dressed, go there, come back, that sort of thing. We highly recommend it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below because we've got more videos coming up. We're going to do some in-depth bike reviews. We're going to look more closely at the Peloton app, things like the yoga, running, strength training, treadmill. There's so much in there that we're going to go more depth into. Also have a look in below here in the comment section. I've put links to all the products that I've talked about. So if you want to do your own DIY setup, just click there, get them from Amazon. All this stuff's really cheap and you'll be up and running in no time. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.